Pisces. This constellation is both fascinating and yet shrouded in mystery. It contains some of the most beautiful deep space objects, yet is one of the hardest constellations to see in the night sky. Being one of the 12 zodiacs, its origins date back to the Babylonian era, but how exactly it came about is still shrouded in mystery. The constellation takes on the image of two fish tied together with a cord by their tails and represents a variety of symbols across cultures. It's a large constellation, ranking number 14 in size, but is made up of relatively dim stars. Beyond the stars we can see, Pisces contains a plethora of galaxies and other deep space objects, each with their own unique story. So, in this video is everything you need to know about the Pisces constellation. Hello Internet, welcome back to my channel. I'm Abby, this is Abby's Amateur Astronomy, and today we're going to be talking about the Pisces constellation. So in order to find Pisces, you're going to need really dark skies. A lot of these stars are very faint and hard to pick out, and they're really spread apart. It's a really large constellation, so it's hard to, even if you find a couple of the stars, it's really hard to pick out the shape. And so pretty much the only thing that can help you getting out of the city, getting away from light pollution, and finding skies that are really dark, highly recommend going to dark sky parks. I'll leave a link below where you can look up one near you. But if you're in the northern hemisphere, I'm in the northern hemisphere, the best time to find Pisces, well, the only time you're going to be able to see it is going to be in the autumn months. So pretty much September through December. Now if you're in the southern hemisphere, it would be the opposite time of the year. It'll be more April, May, and June time frame. Okay, so you found some dark skies, it's the middle of autumn. If you're in the northern hemisphere, now how do we find it? First thing you're going to want to do is to look directly south. So once you're facing south, you're going to want to just look up until you find the Pegasus square. Now these are 4 pretty bright stars that make up a very distinctive square. Like it's hard to miss. Now depending upon what time of year it is, it actually might be right above you. So if you are looking for it and can't find it, just keep going up. It might be right above you. From the Pegasus square, you're going to want to look to the southern side of that asterism, and you should see almost like a little circle of stars, and that's going to be the Pisces circlet, which is an asterism of Pisces. It's actually more of a pentagon. It's made up of 5 different stars. Again, they're pretty faint, but it is a pretty distinctive shape that you can pick out. So once you do that, that is the head of the western fish of Pisces. Once you find the circlet of Pisces, you're going to want to follow the line of stars to the southeast, and it'll end at a bright star for Pisces, and then from there it'll be a V shape. That's where the 2 chords of the constellation meet together, and you follow it back up kind of on the other side of the square Pegasus, on the other side of that point. You'll follow stars back up and you'll see a triangle, and that will be the head of the other fish in the Pisces constellation. A planisphere is helpful. One of those star constellation finding apps is really helpful, and it takes some time. Okay, so now we're going to get into the fun stuff. We're going to talk about the important objects and the major objects within the Pisces constellation. A lot of times Pisces is broken down into its 4 main asterisms, which is going to be the north fish, the north chord, the south fish, and the south chord. You'll often hear them referred to in their Latin names. I'm not going to pronounce them, but I'm going to put them on the screen for your enjoyment. So now let's talk about the stars in the Pisces constellation. Now we're going to cover the ones officially named by the IAU, or International Astronomical Union, and Pisces has 9 of them. So first up, we have Eta Piscium, or Pherg. Again, I'm so sorry about my pronunciation of these names. I don't know if I'm going to attempt all of them. If not, I will definitely have the most common names on the screen for you guys to reference. Pherg is actually an Arabic name meaning the spout or outpouring of water. You'll notice that a lot of these stars have names referencing to water. So the Pisces constellation is located in the portion of the sky known as the sea. We talked a lot about this in the Aquarius constellation video that I made last. But in this area of sky, all the constellations are sea themed. So Pherg is the brightest star in this constellation. It's sitting at an apparent magnitude of 3.61 and it is 350 light years away. This star is a binary star with the magnitude of its companion being around 7.51, so being a lot dimmer. This is a G73A yellow giant star, and it is 3.78 solar masses. Scientists estimate that this star is around 220 million years old. Up next is Eta Piscium. This star is also a binary star system, meaning it is two stars rotating around each other, and the orbital period of those two stars, so how long it takes to orbit each other, is about 700 years. The primary star has a visual magnitude of 4.33, so this is the one that we're able to see, with the secondary being a visual magnitude of 5.23. This is the star that makes up the point at the B, so where the two chords come together and the fish are supposedly tied. That point is Al-Rushka, is the star, Al-Rushka. The primary star is 2.3 solar masses, so just a little over double what our sun is, and the system sits about 139 light years away. The name is actually Arabic as well, meaning the well rope. So the third star we're going to talk about is Bablyonian. Bablyonian is also known as HD 8574 and has an apparent magnitude of 7.12. Okay, this star sits at roughly 146 light years away and is estimated to be around 5 billion years old, so very old. This star has a spectral type of F8 and is about 1.1 solar masses, so only slightly bigger than our star. So in 2001, the European Southern Observatory actually found an exoplanet surrounding this star. It's about 2 times the mass of Jupiter, so it's actually massive, and has an orbital period of about 0.62. The star actually got its name by winning the Name Exo Worlds campaign in France during the 100th anniversary of the IAU, and the name Bablyonian means god of light, sun, and health in Celtic mythology. So star number 4 is called Citadel. Citadel, its more scientific name is HD 1502. It has an apparent magnitude of 8.36 and is a K-type star. It sits 519 light years away, and in 2011, a gas giant exoplanet was found orbiting the star. This gas giant is about 2.75 times the mass of Jupiter and has a 428.5 day orbital period. The fifth star we're going to talk about is Ebla. Ebla's more scientific name is HD 218566. Has an apparent magnitude of 8.53, so it's actually really dim. The star got a name by winning the Name Exo Worlds campaign, again for the IAU's 100th anniversary, but this time in Syria. And the name comes from an ancient Syrian kingdom. It sits at only 94 light years away and is 0.81 solar masses. It is a K3-5 solar classification and is somewhere between 8.5 to 11.5 billion years old. Up next, we're going to talk about Eta Piscium. Oh god, do I even try to pronounce that name? Fumasamaka. I might just call it Eta Piscium. I'll put its actual name on the screen so you guys can try to pronounce it. Because I can't. I'm gonna butcher that. Alright, anyways. Eta Piscium has an apparent magnitude of 4.48 It is B65e, blue-white main sequence star. It is 492 light years away, and the name is Arabic for the mouth of the fish. Star number 7, we're going to talk about WASP 32. The official name is Half of this video is going to be me trying to pronounce these star names. Okay, WASP 32, again, actual name somewhere on the screen, has an apparent magnitude of 11.54 and is a yellow main sequence star. It is 795 light years away. It got its name in 2020, and its name is Latin for the lion, which represents Singapore's national animal. So Singapore was the one to name the star. So in 2010, an exoplanet was found orbiting the star, and it's a unique type of exoplanet that is known as a hot Jupiter. They named this planet Viculus. The 8th star we're going to talk about is Ravati, or HR 361. This star has an apparent magnitude of 5.21, and this star is actually in a quintuple star system, which is 5 stars interacting with each other. It's split up into a group of 2, so a binary system, and a group of 3, so a triple star system orbiting around. This sits at roughly 170 light years away. So the IAU recognized this star back in 2017, and it's a Sanskrit word for one of Hindu's astrology's lunar mansions. So the 9th star that's officially named by the IAU that we're going to talk about is called Eta Piscium, or HR 510. This star has an apparent magnitude of 4.29 and sits 280 light years away. This is a binary star system with the stellar classification of K03. Oh, and it is estimated to be 390 million years old. The name actually is derived from Ptolemy back in his Alchemist that was written in around 1550. So Ptolemy called it Torcular, and that's just the name that stuck by the IAU. So now that we've covered the stars of the Pisces constellation, let's talk about some of the more deep space distant objects. So first up, Pisces has one Messier object. It is M74, also known as the Phantom Galaxy. This is a grand design spiral galaxy that is facing pretty much face on to where we are, so we can get some beautiful images. And what makes it a grand design, kind of an ideal galaxy for imaging, it has 2 very distinct spiral arms. This galaxy was actually discovered by Charles Messier's observing assistant, Pierre Méchain, in 1780. It's estimated to sit around 30 million light years away and has an apparent magnitude of 10. So actually M74 is in a galaxy cluster. There are several other galaxies, around 5 to 7 in the same vicinity, and this one is the brightest of that group. Estimates put that this galaxy has around 100 billion stars and is still forming new stars at a rate of about 2 solar masses per year, which is actually very similar to the Milky Way. So what's really interesting is this galaxy contains 3 supernovae that are being studied. The first one is SN2003GD. So it's a supernova that went off in 2003, and it's a highly studied type 2. And this supernova is formed by how you probably heard, where a star eats up the rest of its fuel and becomes a supergiant, and that supergiant then expands, contracts, and explodes, becoming a supernova. The second supernova discovered in this galaxy actually was discovered first. It was discovered in 2002. It's known as SN2002AP, and it's classified as a type 1c supernova, meaning they haven't detected any hydrogen. And there could be a couple of reasons for this. One of the theories is that it is a very large star that had a lot of solar wind blow away its atmosphere of hydrogen, or it is part of a binary star system, and the companion star kind of stole all of its hydrogen. The third supernova in this galaxy is SN2013EJ. And this is classified as a type 2, which is the same as the first supernova we talked about, and again, it's the most common type. Earlier this year, JWST actually imaged the heart of this galaxy, which gets us this beautiful image we see here. The image was taken with the mid-infrared instrument, or MIRI, and the study wanted to learn more about the early phases of star formation. So the next galaxy I want to talk about is NGC 488, which is another face-on spiral galaxy. It is about 90 million light years away, and it was discovered by William Herschel in 1784. So this galaxy has 2 supernova that have been observed. Both of them are type 1a and what are called SN1976G and SN2010EB. The final galaxy I want to talk about is NGC 383 or 3C31. Anyways, it's a double radio galaxy, but actually giving a quasar-like appearance. It's very cool. So radio galaxies are galaxies that have a high emission of radio waves from their galactic nucleus. A double radio galaxy refers to the morphology of the radio plume in that it actually has 2 hotspots along the edges. So this galaxy sits at 209 million light years away and actually has a supermassive black hole at the center. This galaxy has an apparent magnitude of 13.4. So the last deep space object I want to talk about is actually a star. It's called Van Manen star, and what makes it really special is it's the closest solitary white dwarf star to us. It's only about 14 light years away, and okay, so there's actually 2 other stars that are white dwarfs that are closer, but those 2 other stars are part of a binary system. So this is the closest solitary one. It has an apparent magnitude of 12.37, so you're not going to be able to see it with your naked eye. It is very dim. So white dwarf stars are what's left behind after a star has used all of its nuclear fuel. They're about the size of the Earth, so they're really small, but they're very, very dense. Typically speaking, it's about half of the mass of our sun, but condensed down into the size of the Earth. So before the star became a white dwarf, it's estimated that its original star was about 2.6 solar masses. But now it's about 1% of the volume of our sun with 2/3 of its mass, which is insane to think about. This star was first discovered in 1917 by a Dutch astronomer of the name Adrian van Manen. So to wrap up this video, I want to talk a little bit about the history of this constellation, including some of the myths and legends surrounding it. So this constellation, Pisces, is part of the 12 zodiacs, and the zodiac constellations actually have their origins date back all the way to the Babylonian times. Now, I talk a lot about this history in my Aquarius video because Aquarius is actually a lot older than Pisces. So if you're interested in more of the Babylonian history and how the zodiacs came to be, you can check out that video. But for Pisces, the history is a little bit more abbreviated because we don't actually know when and where and why Pisces popped up. So the most famous Babylonian astrological evidence we have is called the 3 stars chart. Like, it's really famous. This is what a lot of people reference. And most of the zodiac appear in this 3 stars chart. And for reference, this catalog was dated back to the 7th century BC. Now, Pisces does not appear on this. Stars that are within the Pisces constellation does appear. So the western fish of Pisces was referenced as its own constellation called the Swallow. And then the northern fish of Pisces was a part of a constellation called Anunitum. Oh god, I'm just gonna put it on the screen. Also known as Lady of the Heavens. From what I could find, the earliest reference to Pisces as, you know, like the constellation that we know and love today, didn't pop up until the 4th century BC. And that was within the Babylonian astronomical diaries. So that's about 3 centuries later. These texts called the constellation Kunmi, also known as the Tails. But then later on, the name changed to Zivmi, beginning around 330 So we do know that the Pisces constellation did originate with the Babylonians. It was just a little bit later than all the other ones. But from there, it spread outwards to other cultures, to other civilizations. The stars roughly remain the same. The symbolism is very similar, but obviously each culture kind of puts its own twist on it. And eventually it made its way into Greek and Roman cultures. By the 2nd century, Pisces was one of Ptolemy's 48 constellations. And from there, the IAU picked it up, and that's when it became an official recognized constellation. So I'm going to end it on a brief summary of the Greek myth surrounding Pisces. The Greeks in Greek mythology, same with the Romans in Roman mythology that came later, have stories for almost every constellation. And where Pisces got its name from is Pisces actually represents Aphrodite and Eros. And according to legend, the Titan Typhon was attacking Mount Olympus. And in order to escape alive, Aphrodite and Eros turned themselves into fish and jumped into the river to escape. But that's how we get the two fish in the sky. Well, that's all I have about the Pisces constellation for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. If you're still watching to the end, hello, hi. Not many of us are here, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm currently working on videos. I would like to go around and talk about the different constellations. I love just learning and researching and putting together kind of a story and then presenting it to you. So I'm starting with the zodiac, but eventually I'll probably move on and talk about the rest of them. And who knows, I'll probably sprinkle in videos of other types in between. I'm still new to this, so I'm rusty, but I feel myself getting better with each video, and the progress feels good. Anyways, thanks for sticking around. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to, no pressure. Yeah, if you have any suggestions on how to make these videos better, or which constellations I should do next, or anything I should talk about next actually at all, feel free to leave suggestions. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you for being here. I'll talk to you in my next video. That was gross. All right, bye.